Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today, we're going to be talking about some potential big news coming out of the world of TSM. This is a rumor. This is a rumor video with a little bit of speculation. We're going to be going over some tweets and some posts from some sources that, I don't know. I'm just getting the news out to you guys. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just going to be going over what people are saying and obviously giving my thoughts and opinions under the pretense of like if this is true, but then hopefully we'll also be finding out very, very soon whether these things are true or not. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about TSM lately, and if you guys have been enjoying those videos, don't worry. I have a couple of other TSM videos lined up for this week. There have been a ton more stories, a ton more rumors, a ton more talking behind the scenes going on. And if you guys are getting sick and tired of the TSM videos, don't worry, I have a bunch of other video ideas planned for this week as well. I'm really, really excited about where the state of competitive League of Legends is, where the state of my channel is, where the state of the content is, where the state of the stories are. We have playoffs, we have MSI right around the corner, we have the little off-season in between spring and summer. There's going to be a ton of banger videos coming your way, so definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this one. I would appreciate that a ton, and subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us run those numbers up. With that being said, let's get right into this. The big kind of story, rumor, whatever, that we were talking about today comes from LCS Eevee, one of these like Wooloo shoot-offs or whatever, Wooloo's cousin, whatever you want to call it. No association with Wooloo, anything like that. But he tweeted out this. He said, "Sources, I have been told that TakeOver is going to be playing mid lane for TSM for the rest of Spring Split." Now, again, no idea if this is true. I don't get a lot of sources myself. I don't really actively seek sources anyway, because a lot of the people, a lot of these sources behind the scenes, they're not able to tell you much, or they'll tell you stuff off the record, or when they can tell you stuff, or when they choose to tell you stuff, sometimes it's fake, sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it ends up not being true, sometimes people put out bait stories just to like find out who leakers are. There's just all these million games. So I'm not somebody who has a ton of behind-the-scenes sources. I'm starting to talk to more and more people as my channel gets bigger, as people see my face more and more. People are going to want to talk to me. Hopefully, we can keep growing. Hopefully, that keeps going. But right now, I don't have a lot of sources, and I don't try to have a lot of sources. So I don't know. This is something I haven't heard about, and I haven't really asked around to try and find out about, because, again, even when I do find out stuff, a lot of times I can't talk about it anyway. And if you guys weren't around with us for the past couple off seasons, we talk about tweets like this all the time in the off seasons. People tweet out rumors, people tweet out speculation, whatever. Usually when you hear sources, that's more reliable than rumor. LCS Eevee here saying sources, I've been told. That should mean multiple sources, and it should mean pretty reliable, pretty decent sources that are pretty confident in what they're saying. But just like in off season, where everything we see, you take it with a grain of salt. You don't believe it 100%. You don't believe stuff until you hear it from the org, from the team, from, something super, super, super reliable. But that doesn't mean you can't discuss the potential. That doesn't mean you can't discuss the possibility. That doesn't mean you still can't have a discussion around if this is true. Because a lot of the times, people are hearing stuff for a reason. People don't just tweet out complete BS. People don't tweet out complete lies. Because if you do that, your career isn't going to last very long. And, obviously somebody like LCS Eevee, I'm assuming wants to be, like a Wooloo type clone or something like that. And hey, Wooloo all of a sudden has a full-time career from this. He all of a sudden is making a ton of money. He all of a sudden is going to be very, very rich in the near future. And this is because he, has a history of being really, really reliable and getting a lot of stuff right. You are incentivized to try and get stuff right for your own reputation. So, again, I don't know if TakeOver's going to be playing. I don't know if he's not, but there is that potential chance that TakeOver will be playing for the rest of the Spring Split. And this is interesting because this is not necessarily what we heard, during the benching. This is from the article of, TSM Shenny will return to LCS. TakeOver is going to start over Kaido. This is in that. And what they say here is that Kaido will temporarily move to the Academy team with TSM Academy mid laner TakeOver playing in the LCS effective immediately. So There they are saying temporarily. And I think a lot of people took that to mean like a short break. And they might have even said that somewhere, like a short break. They say here, this change was made as the team feels that Kaido needs more time to train in a less stressful environment. We're aware it's not ideal to make this many roster changes mid-season, but in our current position, it's critical that Kaido is given time to work on several key development areas as soon as we try to end the season on a high note. So, again, they don't really say when Kaido is going to be back or how long he's going to be gone or how, short a temporary break is or anything like that. But I think most people expected him to be back relatively soon. I think Shenny was out for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we're probably expecting something similar from Kaido, if not even less, because now, we find out Shenny was probably benched for like behavior reasons, for like a punishment, and it doesn't seem like that's happening with Kaido at least. But then TakeOver obviously comes up, and not only does he win a game, which, hey, that's crazy right now for TSM. Wins are hard to come by. TSM is currently sitting at 2-9. They are dead last in the LCS. They are not even tied with CLG anymore. They're a full game behind CLG 11 games into the season. This isn't week 2. We haven't played 3 games. We've played 11 games. TSM is 2-9. They are obviously 1-1 with TakeOver. And not only did they win a game with TakeOver, not only are they 1-1 with TakeOver in the mid lane, TakeOver probably had the best mid lane performance in that Silas game, that we've seen from a TSM mid laner this season. I think in 2 games, TakeOver has now had a better performance than Kaido had in 9 games, which is not saying nothing. And, in those games, Kaido had some solid ones, and there were some games where Kaido maybe looked like TSM's best player. Not necessarily because he was even playing great, but because all of TSM was playing pretty bad, and he was overall just being very stable. But, from the 9 TSM games, Kaido doesn't have a ton of highlight moments. He doesn't have a ton of high-impact moments. He hasn't really looked that crazy or that special. Now, he hasn't looked outwardly terrible. It's not like he's getting solo queued or he's getting mid-gapped so insanely hard or anything like that, but he just hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked impressive. He hasn't done much of anything, and TakeOver, took this opportunity, and hey, he took over. He made the most of it. And yeah, so now this puts TSM in a really, really weird spot. Say TakeOver does play the rest of the season, then I tweeted this out. We will have only seen this $5 million TSM rebuilding team, developmental roster, whatever. We'll have only seen them play 4 games together in the entire spring split, and that'll be crazy. And then what's going to happen between spring and summer? Is TakeOver going to keep playing mid? Like say TSM wins 2 or 3 more games the rest of the season. Is TakeOver just going to be their mid laner then? Is Kaido going to be done? Is Kaido going to stay in Academy and ramp up? Are they going to swap the guys in and out? What's going to happen with Shenny? What's going to happen with TakeOver? There's so many question marks for TSM. And then there's still the fact of are they just a last place team? Are they really the worst place team in the LCS? Are they going to, be like 8th, 9th, and 10th again in summer? So much weird stuff going on, especially when, again, Reggie's telling us that this is a top 3 spending team, that they spent over $1 million on the buyouts for Kaido and Shenny. It seems crazy to be giving up on these players already, but again, they haven't looked that impressive. They've looked actually really, really bad. And when you're spending these amounts of money, TSM can say it's a 3-year plan all they want, but it's just not a 3-year plan. That just makes absolutely no sense. So again, we'll find out as this week goes on. Hopefully TSM kind of gives us some insight. Hopefully they talk to us. It's going to be very, very interesting. Obviously, when the Academy games, I think, happen on Thursday, it's going to be interesting to see who's playing Academy. It's going to be interesting to see who's playing LCS this week and how TakeOver looks. And if TakeOver keeps looking good, he has an opportunity to potentially win this starting job. Now, on the other side, I don't think a lot of people expect him to keep looking good. He didn't look insane in lock-in when the Academy team played. He hasn't looked insane in Academy either. TSM's like one of the weaker Academy teams, and it's not like TakeOver's been popping off. So I don't know. Just because he performed well in 1 out of 2 best of ones doesn't necessarily mean anything. I think overall TSM probably has 2 pretty average, below average, pretty meh mid laners, and they're just going to have to keep swapping out and deciding who's going to play. I don't really know, but this is the latest rumor, the latest news, that it is possible, potentially, or what LCS EV is hearing is that it's going to happen. Obviously he says in here, nothing is set in stone. However, this is the plan, at least for TSM, unless upper management forces a change. And, that's talking about like Reggie stepping in and doing something like that. It doesn't mean only Reggie, but that's kind of what you're hinting at a little bit there. this could be happening for TSM. I don't know. I think it would be a weird move, but at this point, I think any move that TSM makes is kind of weird. They're in a very, very difficult position, and I don't think there's a whole lot of like great moves to be made. But that is pretty much everybody's video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. Do you think we're going to see KD again in the spring split? Or do you think he's done? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, save today, and all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.